Earlier this week, we did a video addressing Cleatgate for the Minnesota Fighting Vikings going up to Green Bay, allegedly losing, and the Vikings simply were losing their footing, and the Packers did not, and that could have helped make the difference in the game. Where, I mean, so everyone points out, mainly the journalists point out, was like, hey, this happened, but it didn't make a difference in the game. It did. It did, especially the way that momentum swung in that first half. The Vikings losing footing, Jefferson losing footing, resulting in a Kirk Cousins interception, them not having proper footing on the kick return. It mattered. And it turns out that the Vikings players actively went against advice from the coaches and the equipment staff and decided to wear the molded cleats, which are shown on the left, versus the famous 7-stud cleats now. So the molded cleats are, the ones where they get the fancy ones for Mosh. Again, we don't blame Mosh on this either. He's a stud. Also, I think he watches the channel, so shout out Mosh. But the molded cleats are great for indoor turf or grass in pristine field conditions, and that was not the case on Sunday in Green Bay. That's why you needed the mudders. That's why you needed those 7-stud cleats, the ones where you can screw in the cleats, you can screw them out and change them out, that thing. Now, they are heavier, they're a little bit clunkier, but what's more important, looking cool or having good footing in outdoor situations? And this is important because the Vikings play outdoors week 18 in Chicago. They could potentially be playing outdoors in Santa Clara or in Philly, right? So they're going to have to work around these things. But Vikings offensive coordinator Wes Phillips, fireball. Like Wes was clearly pissed off about the Vikings footing situation, and he wasn't really that shy in hiding it. So this is the full quote taken from Carl Gerbschmidt. Sorry, not Carl Gerbschmidt, Kevin Seifert, ESPN. This is what Wes said. We definitely have to take the conditions into account, and we have to be professional about whatever the environment we're playing in. The margin for error in this league is small. I assume you're talking about guys slipping down on the ground. It was problematic. It was noticeable that it happened with us and it didn't happen with them. It's something that was addressed, but guys got to understand the margin for error is so small. It can't be like, oh, I'll get it next time. You don't know how many times you're going to have the play to change a game or continue a drive. We have to be professional about it, whether it's technique at times, you cut off the wrong foot on any surface, you're going to fall down, but it was noticeable. It has been addressed prior to the game and post game. We got to be better there. And I think what Phillips is referring to, talk about being professional. So before the game, equipment manager as well as the coaches, they were imploring the players to wear the 7-stud cleats. Now Kevin O'Connell had said that they had suggested it, but they weren't going to enforce it. That was a point where Kevin O'Connell should have been a hard-ass, man. Alec Lucy, Athletic. For reference, early last week, there were white slips of paper hanging from players' lockers informing them of the cleat recommendation for Lambeau Field, so the Viking staff was certainly on top of it. So it is a little bit of cover-your-ass situation for Cleatgate, but I mean, if it comes down to the players, hey, go with the recommendations from the equipment managers. I mean, Dennis Ryan, the guy who's been in the business for decades, been at Lambeau Field several times. So, I mean, the fact that you just went against it, and it was clear that the Vikings didn't have good traction in the first half, and Green Bay did because they're, for the most part, wearing the 7-stud cleats. So it's one of those lessons where I guess it's good that it happened in the regular season as opposed to, again, when they're out in Santa Clara playing on natural grass, which could be in rough condition. Or if they end up going to Philly for the NFC title game, natural grass could be in rough condition. I mean, I'm glad that they learned this lesson now versus then. So I don't know. But your thoughts are thoughts. Wes Phillips, Vikings offense coordinator, addresses Cleatgate. It's so stupid. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Once put the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But next time, Skull Production Value.